Okay, so we're going to start from here because okay. So we're going to start from here because I'm fighting with the camera. I'm in the dark, and this seems to be the best. And if I had my little pen, here it is, and you can see, let's see if I make the camera crazy. Nope, I don't. Okay, see, I have the touch buttons here where I can make them go up. And it's in this area up here. And I can make them go right, which is backwards on the screen. I've tried it both directions and the screen is always backwards. Okay, so here he goes down. See, and I made these where you can see through them. Initially they were solid, and I realized it'd be better if they were transparent. And these little triangles seem to work very good. There is a transparency, but okay. So here we go. And what you can't see is a split screen. You see, you can't tell when he goes from the top, transitions from the top buffer to the bottom buffer. You don't see that at all. So we got our double buffering working. We've got him moving. He's not walking. The next step will be to get him walking, and then after that, we'll be able to start adding more sprites and action and stuff. But right now, let's go through the code that I have. And you see, this is a good cheap yellow display. It's I have two different versions, and the other version does not. It's just something's funky about it. I've got to go through. I've got a whole. I think they're manufactured by somebody else. They're just enough different that they're a pain in the butt because they don't automatically. I think that they don't store the touchscreen coordinates, and even these are a little bit off. But so let's see. Of course, I've got my walk up here with all my variables that I have declared, and we'll get to more information here in a minute about another method I'm going to need to create. Okay, so we have sprites. Those are the background sprites. I guess I should rename them to background. And the warrior and the buttons. I realized that I can use the same sprite multiple times. All right. So, and the night array is declared here. And I believe we talked about that in the last one, but we'll go ahead and these are variables we're going to need for changing his direction and frame and frame delay. When we get to making him walk, we're going to need those. Draw frame is where it takes in a frame index, and remember the frame index is the index of the little man on the sheet, which is 64 by 64 pixels, so that's why it is 496. But we have 4 arrays of 496, and you can see up, left, down, right. And so that's our array, and what we're going to do with the night array down here, we can get to it, we'll see in a minute. Oh yeah, draw frame. And so we send in the frame index, whether we want, and there's 4 directions, and each direction has 9, takes 9 frames to walk. And so we go through this little algorithm to determine which bit we're looking at, which pixel we're looking at, and we load the pixels in here. I say pixels because they are 8-bit. You see each one of them is. Am I saying that right? Oh, I don't know. I'm still asleep. And sometimes I talk and I'm a little bit confused or confusing. So anyway, you see this is how we go through and we fill up the array, and the sheet index is the actual bit we're using, and they don't go in the direct order. It's really cool to do a system print and look at those values. Serial begin, LCD, rotation, brightness, got it full bright, so it's a lot easier to see. LCD height and width, and we go through and we initialize our background sprites, and we create our warrior sprite, set our swaps, and here we are setting the button, which is just a little triangle. We're making it 30 by 30, and we make the color of the triangle we draw inside the sprite. We're making it blue, and I just went into battery saving mode, so that's why it got a little bit dimmer. And then we go into our loop here, and we're doing a touched, get touched. Okay, and if we are touched, and if it is inside of 290 by 320, I actually printed out, did a system print out where I was touching, so I would get the exact coordinates of inside. So it's a little triangle here that you can touch inside to make them go up. There's right and left, and you said not triangle, a little rectangle that you can't see. If it was, I'll show you in a second where that actually draws and filters out that black, makes it transparent. So then the left, and I'm setting all these right, left, up, and downs to true or false, because down here, when you're not touching it, I want him facing the correct direction that you just finished touching him. Like if he's walking to the right, I want him to be facing right. If he's walking to the left, when you quit touching, I want him to face which direction you were last touching. So that's what this does here. Okay, then notice each one of them, we got a draw frame, and each one of them is for the direction. That is the direction he's facing, whether he's going right, left, up, or down. And again, I want it to be facing the correct direction when I'm done walking. I don't want him to have his foot stuck up in the air is the idea when he does stop. So that's what I was thinking. I had to take out the walking for right now. I'm going to make that a function on its own. I might put it in the walk.h just so it doesn't clutter up the top. You can move all your methods excuse me, into the H file, the header file, so it doesn't clutter up too much. And even all these declarations, we could actually get away. We couldn't get away with putting the sprite in there because we don't declare it. Yeah, we do. We declare it before we go here. So there's an order, pecking order there. Okay, so let's go on down. And we're in the loop, and we're touching, and we draw a frame. And the draw frame function, remember, it fills that sprite, the night, not the sprite, the night array. And we use that array, night array, in the sprite. That's what we're telling the sprite to draw. Okay? And we're pushing that to the background. We're pushing that sprite. We're loading them up. Or I should say we're loading that sprite. It's going to see if it was going to tell us the parameters here. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, and down here is when we're double buffering. We're either in buffer 1 or buffer 0, 0 being the top buffer, 1 being the lower half of the screen. And we are, in here you can see we're drawing the sprite. We're wiping out the background, what is there. On the background, and then we push the warrior where he happens to be. This is this minus y determines whether he's in the upper or lower buffer. and then we do the and what you can see here is I'm using the push rotate zoom method, because what I can do is flip, and right here you can see is 0 and 180 and 90 and 270. So I'm rotating that same sprite around to display 4 different times in the direction I want it to. And that's just a picture on the screen. That has nothing to do with where you're touching it. Okay, remember that. This is just a picture, and then I've got to decide where I want to touch the butt. Okay, and then we push the sprite here after we draw on it, and we display it. This last parameter in this push rotate zoom is the transparency. You see down here, transparency. So 0 is for black. I tell it I don't want to see black. And so that's why you don't see any little squares around these guys, because I have that wiped out as transparency. And this is moving him around the screen. Here you can see it will, we're moving him in the screen, we're moving him when we touch it. And my WX and WY for Warrior X and Warrior Y. And if he goes off the screen one direction, I don't let him go off the screen. That's what these do, is keep him from going off the screen and resetting it back to that same value so he gets stopped at the middle. And I dropped my pen. Here it is. And we'll see, we'll run him over out there to the edge, and you can see what happens. He gets stuck there at the edge. And so no matter where, and you see him facing down when I press the down button. And let's see, go on down a little further. There we go. So we see his little head bobbing. He's walking through the swamp. So anyway, the point being is that when he gets to the edge of the screen, see, look at that, he's facing the right direction when I push on. I'm telling you, it took a lot to get to this point. So I still got to make him walk. And that seemed like a while ago where he was freezing at, and it needs to be up inside with the buttons so that he can walk. And we've got to have the delay, because if we don't have the delay, you see that where we have that no delay, I like to call it, his little legs will be going 90 miles an hour if we don't use this. So that's the objective of that. So we went through this code. I will post this code in GitHub and a link to it. And that is where I am at.